A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of Berkshire Bank. For over 165 years, Berkshire Bank has delivered excellent service and performance. Berkshire Bank, America's most exciting bank. With additional support from Judson Meadows, caring for you, and respite stays available too. And The Mortgage Place, offering low rates, a wide variety of programs, expert advice, and exceptional service.
Don't tell us who we are. We're not about ordinary, we're about extraordinary. We're not just about numbers and names. We're about individuals and knowing that no two customers are alike. We're not too small to help. We're not too big to know you. We're about big bank resources with small bank attention. Hey, we believe those important moments in your life should be exciting. Don't you? Life is exciting. Let us help. Berkshire Bank, America's most exciting bank.
I'm Tim Bartos, and I'm here at Judson Meadows, and I'm talking with Ruth about the importance of pet visits.
Pet visits are wonderful. It's one of the things that brings our residents the most joy. There's nothing like the unconditional love of a pet jumping up in someone's lap and bringing a smile to their face. It's fantastic.
And we love our pet visits and welcome them with open arms. Judson Meadows, an assisted living community, the art of aging well.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, this week on Look at Seniors, we have a really interesting topic. Actually, every topic is interesting. The more you learn about this subject, the more you want to learn. Debra Obenhoff owns a company called Home Helpers. And as Lois Celeste, who is the executive director of this Saratoga Senior Center, will attest, we really are sort of revolving this whole series around two words that just resonate with me every single week: dignity and independence. And there's so much to be said about both those words in terms of this topic. Right, Lois?
Maintaining it as long as possible.
Yes, that's right.
Whatever we can do, whatever services are out there that we can connect it.
Yeah. So, Debra, Home Helpers, let's tell our viewers a bit about what this organization does.
Sure. Yes, we're a locally owned business, a national franchise, but it's a licensed home care agency. And we offer companion services as well as licensed home care services. Mm-hmm. So we're licensed by the Department of Health. We assist people with activities of daily living and, as mentioned, help people stay in their homes as long as possible with services. So our place of work is in the home.
Now, I want to go back over the two things and go more in depth on these. There's two types of help that you offer. So companion help, let's talk about that.
Sure. Companions are usually the entree into services for folks. We offer transportation, meal preparation, light housekeeping. We can help people do laundry, change bed linens. So normally when people start to realize they need a little bit of help around the home, we can offer companion help. That's usually when folks just need a little bit of help in the home, maybe to get out and do some errands, do some grocery shopping, maybe some transportation to doctor's appointments, and like I said, some light housekeeping around the home, because maybe they're not keeping up with that as well.
Yes, I got you. And then that would move logically into the other kind of care that you provide, which you defined as health care.
Well, right, assistance with activities of daily living. So that's where we became a licensed agency with the Department of Health. That level of care is care that's ordered by a physician. I do have RNs on staff who go into the home and assess the clients for do a nursing assessment, write a care plan. The care is actually provided by personal care assistants or home health aides. The nurse oversees that level of care, manages that level of care with the aides. But that's what actually hands-on care. So they help with mobility, they help with bathing, dressing, toileting. So they do all of the in-home management the companions do. So they do the housekeeping and the transportation as well. But they also do that hands-on care with the helping with the bathing and dressing and the higher level of assistance in the home. Right.
Now, Lois, I've noticed over the weeks that we've been talking about this, the senior center there is really a resource center for all of this. We've said many times that Lois sees people come in on a daily basis, and over the years you see the changes in those people, and as you identify needs, you go to all the resources to try to fulfill those needs, right?
Sure.
So in this case, tell me about it, how it works.
Again, like you said, we try to be a one-stop shop. We're going to see folks, they trust us. Right. They know that whatever resources we connect them with, we trust them. So it's part of our job to know what's out there. And again, people with us are independent, and then they go to some sort of needs, and trying to convince the senior, again, like you talked about, staying independent and with some dignity, try to convince the senior or their families that you may need some extra help now.
Right.
And it, it could be a fall, it could be an illness, it could be some memory care issues, whatever it is. If someone's failing and there's not another person there to support, also caregiver support. Oftentimes these caregivers get exhausted and they need help in the home.
Yes.
So we work really closely with Debra's agency. She's been on my board for a number of years, and we'll refer out. We have the advocate in the center who people can talk to, and it's really our job to know what's out there in the community and what resources we can refer people to.
Again, another common thread in this series is helping people make the transition. They're very reluctant to identify their own problems, go to the extent, like you were saying before when we were discussing Alzheimer's, where they start to compensate for it to cover it. Mm-hmm. And, again, someone that's skilled like yourself, you see it early on, and then you have to have that trust with that person so they'll trust you to help them make the proper decision.
Well, if you think about it, we've all been in control of our lives all of our lives.
Right, so true.
To give up that control or be willing to accept help is really uncomfortable for some people.
That's right.
But trusting the folks who are with you every day is a big step, and then us connecting to the resources that are out there is really important for what we do.
And I would imagine, Deb, that in building trust with your clients, you start in with companion care. Someone might need, like you were saying, help with transportation, or they might need help with meals or something like that. And then as those people require more help, you can help them make that transition.
Absolutely.
Into the healthcare help.
Absolutely.
Right.
We clients will come to us that way very often, where, like you said, they come from companion care and then transition into the higher level of need, or they have an adverse event where they're coming out of the hospital and need that higher level of care, and in order to get discharged, they would need to set some home care up before the hospital will discharge them. They have to have a safe plan in order to be discharged into the home.
Right. A question I wanted to ask you earlier, and I didn't. You have to be a very special person, I've noticed, in all of this, to really care like you do. What got you involved in this?
Sure. Well, I have a background in healthcare. I went to school for health services management, so that's my background from an educational standpoint, but also had some very personal experience with it with my late husband, who had MS and needed help in the activities of daily living, which is what we call the bathing and dressing assistance. So just to touch me personally, aging parents myself, I challenge anybody to think of their life and the people in it. We all know somebody who at some point needs the help. And if you think about those folks and how difficult it is to lose the ability to do the basic functions of getting up and getting out of bed and doing those things to get up and get moving, it can be a challenge.
Well, sure, and it's the other side of it too that I'd like our viewers to think about. You could be the child of a parent in need. You could be the friend. You could be a caregiver, and all of a sudden you find that the need of the person takes too much time for you. So the whole idea of getting a helping hand and reaching out to an organization like yours through the senior center, especially, you just continue that community and that family.
Well, I'd like to point out too is that, like Lois had mentioned, is the caregiver stress is not to be discounted. I think many folks think that if they are the one caring for their loved one, that they have to do it all. And we have seen so often that that's the person who gets ill first.
Yes, that's
gets more ill than the one they're caring for, because it takes a lot to care for somebody 24/7, and one person can't do it all. So we always recommend that folks reach out for resources. Take care of yourself first. It's kind of like the airbag coming out of the airplane. Give yourself the oxygen first, because otherwise you're no good to the person you're helping.
Oh, thank you. You know what? You've seen the phone numbers on the screen. You always know how to get a hold of Lois at the Senior Center. You can get a hold of Debra at Home Helpers. I really want to close with something that really makes so much sense to me. You were saying something in my office earlier that the sooner that you get the help, the longer that person remains independent and healthy.
Sure.
And that makes all the sense in the world. We tend to put these things off. Get to it sooner. If you get to it sooner, the help is there, and that person at the receiving end really benefits greatly from it.
Sure, yes.
And I think we've talked about that almost in every segment.
I know.
Is the resistance to ask for help, but once you take it, how much support it is and important
great.
it is.
Well, Deb, thanks very much for coming in. Lois, great to see you as
Thank you.
always. We're not going to see you next week, but we'll see you the week after.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have fun traveling. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.